Hello, my friends. Here I am. Doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I guess enjoying my Kinoto in my spaceship. In these fields where we have landed uh, this morning, let's say, for a bit of a joke. Welcome to the next episode of Save the Multipla mini doc. And this one is going to be about 4,000 kilometers recap. So we drove 4,000 kilometers, as I said, in this car. You can see what was done in the previous episode, full checkup when it was at the mechanical shop. Now, excuse me because I will be looking at some notes just not to forget um, what I was about to say. And we start with some more quick repairs and fixes that had to be done to the car just a few days ago. As we can all expect with the old cars that we pick up from people who drive them very little. In fact, the owner of this car was putting about 5,000 kilometers on this car a year. So we have put 4,000 in 2 months. And of course, you can expect all kinds of little things and problems and gremlins to come out and pretty quickly. So anyways, it was nothing really terrible. It was terrible that in the way that we were using more fuel than we were supposed to use, and because there was a leak in the fuel line. But again, it was quite a quick fix to fix the feeding tube that was leaking. And here's a little recap of how it was happening. So it was just at the mechanical shop, but not even inside, just an outside. Tutto lavato in gasolio.
Sì. È tutto là, bruttino, fino qua in fondo.
And yeah, they fixed up this feeding tube pretty quickly and found it and fixed it. I don't know why wasn't I able to identify this problem myself, but I guess I don't know, it looked normal to me, but in fact when you bend it you can see that it was all cracked, and it was sure all the diesel cars are high pressurized, have high pressure in the fuel system, and yeah, it was it was spraying diesel basically all over the motor. But then they also found that one seal under the injector on the fourth cylinder was also leaking, sucking up air basically. Anyways, that was also fixed. So this quick fix, and then I believe because the diesel was spraying the motor bay pretty good, I've been keeping an eye on all kinds of different rubber hoses and parts, and wiping them and spraying them with the degreaser and clean them. But then one day I just found out that there is a leak in and actually the windscreen washer was not working, and I tried to put more water, and all the water came out on the ground. Um, so of course I was at first very much disappointed, and I thought, oh my God, there's something again. Um, it's not that hard to get to the wind washer fluid tank. Not hard at all if you have the right tools. I don't have them all, so I was thinking, well, I have to go again to these guys and ask them to pull this out. But then I checked it and I couldn't find any cracks in the tank, but I spotted that one of the tubes in the pump came off. So, and here's the recap video for you to see how it was all fixed pretty quickly. I might wanna put this video as a separate video just to keep on the channel. Hopefully it will be useful for someone who will ever encounter that kind of problem. Some, yeah, little hints and tweaks never hurt. Actually, the wind washer fluid tank could be easily accessed through the fog light, which is also quite easily to remove, and at least the part where the pumps are. So basically what's going on right now, and what is mostly happening, trying to keep our Multipla in a good mechanical order, or bring it to a good mechanical order up to my standard, where we will have a peace of mind on our trips, knowing that we've looked at the fuel system, we've looked at you know, replaced all the fluids that we need to replace, and that's why the next thing that's coming, which I consider a normal and regular thing to do on any car that you buy from anyone. I mean, it's good to have all the records, but even if you have them, it's good to start your own. And the next thing that's gonna happen, of course, is we're gonna replace the power steering fluid, and the gearbox oil. At the same time, I'm experiencing some weird symptoms on, again, with the fuel pump. I don't think it pressurizes the system immediately as I turn the key in the ignition, but again, this could be a really easy and small thing. Just pour a bottle of fuel system cleaner fluid in the tank, fill it up, and then drive it for 1,000 kilometers on the tank, and hopefully it will resolve the issue, because we are, as weird as it might seem for anybody, we are in Italian winter. We are in the winter anyways, so at night temperature can go down below zero, and it does go below zero. there's no fuel system that will tolerate water in the fuel system. So and there is also a treatment for that. So that could be an easy fix for, I don't know, like 10 euros or something. But actually, there's nothing weird about it, and it's nothing bad about the fact that all these little things start to come out, because then, like I said, I can focus on resolving these issues pretty quickly and making sure that the car is in very good mechanical order and ready for any trip to tackle that we need. So that brings me to the new rims and tires, because currently we are running on what we've inherited from the previous owner, and I don't understand why people do this, and I personally really hate this kind of a setup. In fact, the Multipla has winter tires on the front axle and some all-season tires on the back. And of course, they are the same dimension, but they're different manufacturer, and they are for the different purposes. So the next thing with the fluids or before the fluids, like I said, the gearbox oil and the power steering fluid, before or after, I don't know, but the new rims and the new tires are coming on the car. And if you want a hint on what those are, you can watch my video from Arezzo Classic Car Show, or you can just scroll it all the way to the end, and there in the end you will see the very nice 17-inch period correct, I would say, rims, but not car correct. So they are not from the Multipla, never were supplied for the Multiplas, but they are from the famous Fiat Stilo. So from the other small things that we have, what do we have here? Yeah, well, certainly we are keeping an eye on the liquids that we've already replaced. I am hoping, really hoping, to fix three big or small, I don't know, depends on the way you look at them, electric or electronic issues that the car has from the moment I picked it up. And those are the central locking and unlocking remote. The central locking works with the key in the door, but remote doesn't work. So I have to find a way to test the microchip that's in there, if it radiates any frequency at all. The battery, of course, the battery has been already replaced, and it's still not working. But it's not a huge inconvenience, but it's a nice thing to have. The other inconvenience and nice thing to have is fixing the height adjustment on the driver's seat. Again, I'm perfectly fine in this car, driving it the way this seat has been set up by a previous owner, I guess. But I just don't like having things that could be fixed and probably fairly easily, but they're not working. And the third one, and probably the biggest one, which brings actually a good inconvenience, or that brings actually an inconvenience on the road, is the odometer digital screen, which shows either no digits at all or part of the digits on the the lower part of the digits or the top part of the digits, and then somehow magically it shows all of it, and all of it as you can read the mileage. But I mean, for keeping an eye on the mileage and trying to understand the fuel consumption, that doesn't help at all. It doesn't help a bit. So I know that this gauge that we have in the center with the speedo, there's no rev counter, there's no nothing, there's just a speedo, big huge speedo. In this way, this reminds me very much of my minis that I've had before, because all of them had a big clock, and they have big clock in the middle of the dash and nothing else. And but that clock had many gauges in there. This one, yeah, the fuel gauge and the speedo and the odometer for kilometers, which is not working. Well, luckily the other things are working, so everything else works fine, and I'm happy with that. So the next part of this talk is about plans, and there are plans for mods, and there are plans for restoration of the car. So let's start with the mods. The mods, I'm not planning to do a lot of mods, but what of course is happening is new wheels and tires, and that's gonna already bring a good change in driving habits and handling habits and exterior looks of the car. Even if the body is not perfect and the paint is not perfect, but the wheels are the wheels. I don't know. It's like a shoes for humans. Someone walks in dressed up beautifully, but with the shoes all covered in mud and crap, and you notice that immediately. So I think for the cars, it's the same. Or someone can be dressed up pretty modestly, but have a really nice, strikingly beautiful shoes, and that changes the whole experience of meeting that person. So, anyways, that's the lyrics. But new shoes are coming on. So, what happened with the performance stuff? Let's say. Here's a quick recap of disconnection of the MAF sensor.
Cosa? Va piano questa macchina. Secondo me c'è qualche tubetto fuori posto. Non sento la spinta quella sotto.
Non va bene? Here it comes. Ah, mamma mia.
È migliorata, però se è così, forse il misuratore non va bene.
Let's try it on the straight line. Holy moly! Why we had to do this? Well, I mean, if there is someone watching this channel and doesn't know, that's actually an easy thing to check if this sensor is even working properly. So when I brought the car to the mechanics, I open up a little bit of a window. It's getting too hot in this Italian winter. When I brought the car to my mechanics, I've had a bit of a complaint that it seemed to me a little bit dull, and I haven't had much of experience with the 1.98 valve JTD engine, because my previous car, the Saab 93, had 1.9 JTDM version of that engine with 16 valve, and it was also modded by previous owner, or some settings have been changed, or the programming has been changed. Something has been done to the car, so it was not original settings, so I cannot directly compare. But I could compare to the Multipla that I've had on my test, and on which I've done the little film on my channel. And my Multipla seemed a bit dull in terms of acceleration and the torque, that I couldn't really feel coming. I mean, it was okay, but it was something lacking. So I didn't complain, but I said, well, maybe we should check that, and maybe we should think about remapping the AECU, the engine computer, right? And so basically, they've started on that, and what happened was, the remap was done, and the program was loaded in the ECU, but basically it didn't change a bit. A little bit, very little. It kind of became a little bit peppier, but not that you would say, oh yeah, we've changed the torque and horsepower, and well, I mean, it's not what you change in the program, but you change the parameters that bring your horsepower rating and the torque up. But anyways, I mean, it was nothing really special. And first of all, the guy who was doing this questioned the MAF sensor, which is mass airflow sensor, which measures the mass of the air flowing into the engine, not volume, the mass. Okay, that was just for fun. So he disconnected the MAF sensor, and the car immediately changed. Because what happened, of course, and what happens with any car, if you disconnect one of the sensors, or the sensor goes bad, of course you might see the check engine light on the dash, but the ECU, the engine computer, immediately starts using the reserve program that is always there, right? Just for these sort of cases. And with this reserve program, now the car is completely different. I haven't experienced that kind of relaxed driving, that kind of relaxed gear shifts, where I don't have to change gears too much, like it's supposed to be on the diesel engine, where the torque comes right from the lower revs and you don't bother changing gears. I can literally put it in the third and drive through all these hills without changing a gear. It will pull from 20 kilometers an hour. I'm sorry guys, I cannot tell you the revs, because like I said, I have no rev counter. But from 20 kilometers an hour all the way up to 80, it would go in the third gear without any hiccups. Right now, with the MAF sensor disconnected. So what happens next? Next, we're gonna try to find out a refurbished MAF sensor, which originally was supplied on this car, on this engine, and test it to make sure it works according to the specs. And if it does, then we should put it in the engine, plug it in, and see the difference. So um, test drives, I'm sure many of you would be interested to see the test drives with the bad MAF sensor connected, with the bad MAF sensor disconnected, and of course with the good MAF sensor connected and the new program loaded in ECU. All this I'm gonna put in a separate video, I guess, because this would be, I don't know, it could be a next episode, or it could be just a separate video again on the channel, and the episode I will decide, but it will definitely deserve a separate video. And yeah, the little remark that I have to make, that EGR has been deleted, of course, because this is just to destroy the engine in favor of some environmental perks, which is not true. Everybody who knows engines and knows cars will tell you that it does nothing good for the environment, but it does a lot of harm for the engine. Anyways, restoration plans. Here I would want to make one big remark. We are doing all this project on a very tight budget. Okay, it's not obviously I'm not a famous YouTube influencer, whatever, who gets a lot of sponsorship and money from commercials. No, not like that. It's not like I'm the world-class renowned car photographer or landscape photographer or sport photographer. uh, I don't know why, although I don't think that the photos I take or I make are that bad, but it, it's just I'm not. And we have a certain limited budget to do all the work that we want to do to keep this car for us, to keep this car for family, to keep this car on the road and make it nice. Make it nicer than what you've seen on the episode 4, sorry, episode 2 and episode 3, um, when it was all dirty, and the episode 3 when we were cleaning the car and all that. Now, I must say, that being said, I must say that many people who see this car right now always come up and ask, well, where, how come you were able to find this, the Multipla, which is basically, it looks like new? I don't know. To that I always say, well, uh, I don't believe that you find the car. I mostly tend to believe that the car finds you. So anyways, that being said, here's a quick recap from my visit to upholstery or tapestry shop within our area. I have no idea about prices, but to that we will come later, because in the end of this long talk I will bring up on the screen all the budget, not all the budget, but I'm sorry, all the costs that have been incurred so far, and estimated budget to do the other things. So anyways, here is the couple of shots from the Milano Auto Classica. That's the exhibition that happened in Milan this past fall, where, as some of you might know, the Roberto Giolito, the designer of the Multipla and other cars, but uh, we are interested in the Multipla right now. So the designer of this car has come up with the idea of personalizing the Multipla, I guess the way he would personalize it for himself. Here's a few pictures for you. As you can see, um, the he picked the color theme. He picked the color theme for outside, for inside. A lot of colors have been changed. The upholstery has been changed, of course. All six seats now are personalized with the characters that Roberto created when he was designing this car. He also sketched these funny characters. And all of that, I will put the link in the description. All of that you can watch in the video from Motor One Italy. Also, there will be a link to the article. There, the article is in English, and in Italian, in many other languages, I suppose. And you can understand what the idea was behind the Giolito Multipla 6x6, as he calls it. So I don't know if competitive spirit got me or it was just an inspiration, and it came, this news came right at the time when I was planning the Multipla movie for my channel, the Multipla film, I'm sorry, the film on the Multipla for my channel. And I've seen the article, I've seen the video, I've seen those photos, and I thought, gosh, of course I will never be able at this stage of my life create or recreate, redesign the Multipla the way Roberto has done. And that Multipla, of course, is for sale. If anybody wants a Multipla personalized by the designer himself, Roberto Giolito, this Multipla, it's for sale at around 40,000 euros. And it's based on the same car that I have. The first series Multipla with this exact steering wheel, because they've changed it in 2002, and with this exterior with the gray plastic bumpers and 1.9 JTD 105 horsepower diesel. So, and they also found one with 300,000 something kilometers, because actually, as I already said, many people approach me and ask, where have you found a Multipla that looks brand new? It doesn't look brand new, but so many of them have been destroyed, have been already, have seen, well, let's say, have seen better years. So many of them ended up at the crushers, and it's really hard. And if you think that not many of them were sold, comparing to the numbers of the other cars, it's really hard to find a good unit, a good example that's not been torn apart, tear down. You know, the seats usually are broken or torn, and the dashboard looks terrible. And this one, I think, is okay. It needs a bit more work, more cleaning, and that is, again, brings me back to that upholstery shop where I've been, and I think I'm gonna use for reupholstering the interior, including the door handles, including the door panels, pieces on the dash. And I will make another video when we come close to that point, and we'll be choosing the material to use for the new upholstery. But the hint is that I'm going to give you right now. My idea is recuperate some of this material from the rear seats, which is still in a really good shape, in really good condition. Recuperate it and make another set of nature-inspired symbols, not characters, but symbols. And 6 of them are going to be placed on the seats. So we'll see how it's gonna work, but hopefully it will before it gets absolutely boiled in this winter Italian sun. And sorry, I will have a gulp. Mm, so good. Sorry. Um, and of course, the other thing is always contemplating between repainting the car completely, which is an incredible amount of money, or fixing up a few little dents and scratches and wrapping it in some funky color, I guess. So I'm thinking that it's gonna be wrap 99.9%, including the bumpers, which will be in a different color from the body, and the mirrors, the side mirrors, that's gonna be in some sort of a color. I don't know what. I'm still working on the design, and once once we come to that point, or let's say once I have a bit of time to visit the wrap shop that I found in our area, I will definitely shoot a few frames for you from there and put it up on the channel as part of the next episode. So anyways, this brings me to the last point of this video, which is, here's a few photos that I've done recently, a few days ago. And these photos are for the process that is called registering the car in the um, register of historic vehicles, or rather the vehicles that can have historical value. It's two different things, having a historic vehicle, which is like a vintage and pre-war or whatever. For them, there is a separate procedure. For the cars that have hit 20, sorry, that have hit 20 years of age, you can get the Certificato Rilevanza Storica, which is the historic relevance certificate, which brings down the taxes and insurance. And it's good to have, especially if you want to keep car in, let's say, close to original condition, come to some car meets, and there's some perks, some more perks of being a member of this organization that's called ASI, Automoto Storico Italiano, which is a big national organization and big national club which occupies itself only with the historic vehicles and motorcycles. So I've done these photos. Now I have to fill up the application, send it over to them, and see what's gonna happen. If my Multipla will get this Certificato Rilevanza Storica, the historic relevance certificate, and we will enjoy, we will have more budget to spend on the car than to spend on the insurance and taxes paying for the car. Anyways, that's a wrap up. Thank you very much for watching. Buona fortuna. I wish you all the luck and all the best, and we'll see you in the next video. Now, don't turn it off. The costs and estimated budgets are coming up. All the best. Ciao.